I'd like to call this special quorum court meeting to order. The purpose of this meeting is to continue working on items pertaining to the 2016 budget process. The prayer and the pledge will be handled by J.P. Joel Maxwell. J.P. Maxwell.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity that we have. I just thank you for the freedoms and the chances we have to do your will. I ask tonight that you would help us to do the right things and to do them right. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, J.P. Maxwell. Carla, would you call the roll, please?
Daniel Balls.
Here.
Harvey Bowman.
Here.
Rick Cochran. Robert Dennis.
Here.
Lisa Ecke. Ann Harbison. Sharon Lloyd.
Here.
Tom Lundstrom.
Here.
Eva Madison.
Here.
Sue Madison. Joe Maxwell.
Here.
Gary McHenry.
Here.
Joe Patterson.
Here.
Butch Pond.
Here.
Bill Ussery.
Quorum present. You have the agenda in front of you. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion that we adopt the agenda.
Do I have a second? Sorry. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Against, same sign. The next thing we've got in front of us, we've got the coroner's budget, the sheriff's enforcement, the sheriff's communication, county jail, and constable. The first on the agenda is our coroner. Roger, if you'll come to the hot seat and talk to us. It's going to be 139, 140 is going to be your page.
Yeah.
Are you ready for questions?
Yeah.
Okay. He's ready, folks. J.P. Harbison.
Are you getting a vehicle this year?
No.
No. Okay. So your budget's down a little bit. That's
Yeah.
about $200.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as stands? Do I have?
Motion to adopt the budget.
The budget.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Let's just do. It's okay to do roll call. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now I promise to try to do better. Excuse me.
You're good.
Thank you, Roger. That's it.
Thank y'all. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sheriff.
We'd like to do ours the same. Thank you all.
Oh, the budget.
Everybody
Ain't
laughs.
gonna work. Ain't gonna work.
We're gonna go by committee.
Pull your chairs up there, guys. The sheriff enforcement's page 117, 118. You have any comments? Are you ready for questions? Are we ready for questions?
Oh, if I had any comments?
Yeah, do you have any comments? Are you ready for questions?
No, let's go.
Who had their hand? J.P. Harbison?
What I have in front of me may be old, but you're getting your vehicles. We've already approved that, and you're only up, what, about $71,000 over your whole budget from last year. Is that correct?
Yes, I haven't put a pencil to that exact number, but yeah, that's what's put us over.
So you've cut in other areas, and we really appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions? J.P. Lundstrom.
I make a motion we pass this budget.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Do you have any discussion you would like to add to this before we move forward to the next one? Are you okay?
On the
ready?
enforcement side, I dare not belabor it in the event you decide not to, or go back on your just vote. But we really have worked hard at paring down things. We've done several things to innovative thinking. I'd like to say on behalf of the staff, I know that, for instance, Major Hoyt on the enforcement side, when we moved in the building, there were the big water bottles that we have. Well, to save money, I think to the tune of about $8,000 a year, we basically discontinued contract, bought our own bottles, and then bought a cheap filtering system so that we can still have that type of water service throughout the building. And because there were not water fountains in certain parts of the building, so our employees can all have access, and it's much cheaper. So just things like that we've been able to do that have helped us become more efficient. So.
Next is, if you're ready to move forward.
We are.
That'll pay $195. J.P. Madison.
Thank you, Madam Judge. With your indulgence, I'd like to still ask a question about enforcement budget. We
Sure.
voted so fast that we didn't have time for much discussion. I wanted to ask about the food that, it's line 2005, $5,000. I know that's not a lot, but I'm worried it's the dinners you've provided for the Quorum Court.
That is not what they're for. When we
I
do
didn't think we
anything for
ate
the
that
court,
high on the...
that comes out of these four people's pocket. That's just that. No.
Okay,
When
we
we do
won't
that,
eat.
that's what we do. It's our pleasure, and we like to do it. But the food budget primarily is to fund what I call the Chief's Breakfast, that the monthly meeting that I host, where we bring in state, federal, local law enforcement folks to bring everybody together to discuss common problems that we have in Northwest Arkansas. And we vetted that through the court and through our county attorneys to make sure that everything that we're doing is in accordance with the audit and laws, and what a benefit we get from that expenditure. So we thank you.
So you're feeding breakfast to a group of people once a month for $5,000?
Yeah, we do. Actually, it's 10 breakfasts and 1 luncheon. And the smallest groups that we'll have probably 40 to 45 will be our smaller attendees. And J.P. Madison, this is talked about in a 4-state area. That what we do,
The
no,
breakfast
seriously,
or the
because
meeting?
nobody else can pull this off, where you bring, the food is great for one thing, but there's no
Sure
other
is.
place that can bring law enforcement officials of this magnitude together to discuss these type of problems. And we've talked about this before, but I don't even know if you'll understand the magnitude of this. But for instance, where you're sitting, let's just say you're the chief of police at the Prairie Grove Police Department. And next to you, where Joel is sitting, is the head of the FBI for the state of Arkansas. And on the other side of you is the head of DEA or the colonel of the state police. And you're talking about issues that you've got. And now, when you've got a problem, you're on a first-name basis with somebody that you would probably never have met in your whole career. And we bring them together every month. So it's really a great use of that fund. And I thank you all for really buying into that.
No bottled water? Since you found a better way to do bottled water.
Yeah, no, that was
And it's not filtered, it's just tap water.
great.
In many
I was just
cases,
looking at
that's
that
safer
fancy
than
thing on the
bottled.
wall. I just assumed it had a filter.
It's a valve, it's just a valve.
It's just called a faucet, Tim.
Is that the only question?
Yes, thank you.
Anyway, but believe it or not, that's like $8,000 in savings, the just innovative thinking. So anyway, okay.
Okay,
Is that-
we're going to move on now to Sheriff Communications, page 195. Anyone have any questions or comments for the sheriff? I'm sorry, J.P. Madison.
Thank you, Madam Judge.
No
Madison-
food, Sue.
No, I see that one's blank, but it's a drop in the bucket. But I'm just curious why you're buying medicine and food. I mean, medicine and drugs. I mean, I realize you do for inmates, but is this some kind of emergency thing that if somebody's in a car and you've got to give them a tranquilizer?
I'll
or-
let Major Hoyt answer. I'm not sure exactly.
We have first aid kits around the building, and that is just their share of, in case supplies are depleted out of there. We have Band-Aids and little salves
aspirin.
and so forth for paper cuts and headache medication or whatever type of little over-the-counter stuff when people are at work. We have those in those kits, and should we need to replenish them, we take it out of the individual budgets. I have a little bit more for that in the enforcement size because we have more people. There's only 18 people in there in dispatch.
Okay, I'm glad to know you're refilling a kit. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any comments? I'm sorry. Ann, did you have your hand up?
Well, I was going to move adoption of the communication budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of this budget, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Judge, if you'll indulge me, just a brief explanation, not that you want to belabor
No,
anything.
I appreciate you doing that.
One of the, under small equipment, where we've got $175,000 budgeted, that we have to replace all of our mobile video recorders in our cars. That platform has become archaic, and so we have to replace every bit of that. So that's 33 cameras in our cars, and I think 10 of those are going to be purchased this year.
Yeah, we've already purchased them. We've
Okay.
installed 3, and there's a total. We have a total of 43, but we've got to do 33 next year.
Anyway, that's just a little something that I tried to tell you out of this thing that we try and do that never impacts general, that these are the kind of things that we get out of the communications fund.
Yes, J.B. Madison.
I think I have a question for Ms. Bollinger. Is she over there?
Cheryl?
Okay. I couldn't see you. I'm curious why that, it seems like that's a capital expense. It's a one-time expenditure of a significant amount. Why is it that it's in small equipment that seems more recurring?
Because he has a budget.
The individual pieces would not, it's not over $5,000.
Maybe I need to call down and talk to someone at audit, because it seems like those are the kind of things we need to be able to see year to year that stick out, that they wouldn't be recurring. It just, the method doesn't seem to be real logical. I get that's what they're saying, but it would be helpful for us to see next year that was sort of a special one-off, and so we wouldn't see it.
Yeah, they've been in place for
We
10
installed.
years.
We bought them in late 2005. Installed the first one in 2006, and they've been going ever since.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the expense. I'm just questioning that what seems like a capital expense that stands out on the budget like a recurring expense, and it would be helpful for us next year to be able to see it as some kind of standout because it's not really, I mean, I know that you're replacing some year to year, but at some point, hopefully, there will be a year where you don't, because it's.
We just follow the rules as they get interpreted by upstairs, and we follow. If they say to put it in capital, that's where I'll put it.
Yeah.
It's still the same amount of money.
Sure. It's a way for us for year to year to see the things that should stand out to us. So thank
Sure.
you.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Yes, J.P.
Thank you.
Bowman?
Thank you, Judge. Judge, Sheriff, I'd just like to commend you guys. You know how tough this budget situation has been, and you guys seem to have really worked hard to keep these numbers in line, and I want to say thank you. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
J.P. Madison?
Thank you, Madam Judge. Where is it that you're renting land or buildings? I would have thought we owned all of it.
That is rent for towers.
3070.
We have to rent land where some of the radio towers are and the equipment for the radio towers that are around Washington County. The county doesn't own the land, so we pay rent on those buildings.
The tower is a building.
No, there's a building at the tower.
There's a building at the
that
tower.
holds equipment. And then there's a tower itself, so we have to pay tower rental, and then sometimes the land expense to the landowner for having the tower on their land and the building that's on it. Then we have to pay some utilities, for that too.
It would be somebody like Smith that has a tower on somebody's land, and then there's a lot of people that access that are all paying. Is that right or not?
Charles Knoll, yeah, he's one of the
Property out on Blue Mountain.
property owners.
So part of this is Smith Communications expense.
I was giving you an example of how the tower system works. If that were one of the towers, I don't know, is that a Smith tower or that they rent space on, or?
Yeah, I think Smith maintains its own Charles Knowles property.
So you have a contract with Smith, it's two-way radio, and Smith's also contracts with a landowner for these towers. Are they special for you all, or everybody's using these towers?
Generally, when there's a tower, there's multiple.
People on it, yeah.
Multiple users.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, how many users there are, but there's not an isolated tower that they would have that would just have our.
I would really have to get John Luther in here.
Yeah, I don't-
He's in charge
Well,
of the radio
it's
system
not-
for the county that all the entities in the county
How many
use.
towers are
And so we just pay our share of that expense.
Okay, so if 5 departments are using it, we divide by 5. That's what it is.
New sites.
Okay, so,
Because we're hitting, I was just talking to Jay, and I don't have, that'd be another Luther question, maybe Smith, but we have access about 10 or 12 towers to get coverage in the whole county.
Okay.
But obviously, we don't own them.
okay, well, it's important that you have coverage all over the county. Thank you, that's all I have.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, now we're going to go to the county jail. That's going to be 199 to 200. J.P. Harbison?
Okay, she's wanting to go to 199, and I'm wanting to go to the revenue on page 40. All right, let me ask you a question. There was something in the paper about the legislature, somebody was going to cap what you could charge for a phone call at the jail.
Okay.
Would that affect you?
Hang on just a minute. I want to make something clear. The sheriff does not have that. You don't have that in front of you, do you,
I
Sheriff?
don't, but I know the
You know that?
article, you read
Okay.
the article. And
Right.
Okay.
So I'll address that. We were going to do that anyway, just to give you some information, just in the event it happens. That really, if it passes, it will first impact the prison system and the trickle-down effect. It will affect county jails in that the percentage of fees that are recouped by the county will be reduced. Okay? Now, what this is, that affects the communication fund, not the jail. But how it affects the jail is, this helps us pay for a lot of the equipment that's in the jail, that we've taken out of communication funds, our cameras and our all kinds of stuff. So we're really hoping that doesn't come to pass. There's a lot of people lobbying against it. It will have a huge impact on our state prison system. But at any rate, that is on the horizon, and we should know something. Is it tomorrow? Did they vote on it today or tomorrow?
Wednesday or Thursday. It's FCC.
This week, the FCC is voting on it, and it's a national policy.
Okay.
So.
I have another
Yes, go ahead, J.P.
question.
Harbison.
I want to go back to the revenue projections and expenditures, and it's the new one that's been handed out. Okay, it doesn't have a page number. It's 31. It's 31. Okay, it's 31. You've got a requested budget of $14 million, 266, et cetera. And you have available to budget $13,175,735. Now, if we put the whole back in that, then you have enough money to run the jail, correct?
I don't have the documents in front of me, Ann. I can't. Do you have it?
No, I don't
What
have
she's
it.
talking about? First of all, the document I have doesn't show 14 million. Budget, it was 13.
Requested budget.
With,
Ron Wood's section.
so it's here, okay.
It's 13 on the, I don't know what's,
And what's the line number that we're looking at?
we're looking at let's see,
37.
3017.
Okay, now let's go again.
Okay. You've got $478,450 in holdback, and you have budgeted $14,266,132, and
Now, that includes Ron Wood's maintenance budget.
maintenance budget too.
If you'll go to the left, I think our total that we're requesting is 13,338.
All right, so
338,
13,338.
isn't that right?
But
424.
on your holdback, if I understand from Cheryl that that holdback is used before we have this amount over here on the infusion for the jail. And I'm a friend of yours. Remember, I'm a friend of yours.
Okay.
And I think that $1 million.
Hopefully, we're all friends.
That $1 million, and that amount there, $90,397, I think that needs to be put back up in unappropriated reserves. And if you run short, then you come back like everybody else and ask us for the money. And it shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to make a motion that we move that $1,090,397 into unappropriated reserve.
Okay, I've got a motion.
Not a second.
Okay, it's J.P. Madison.
It's right here.
I'm not, okay, there's a second. I was gonna say
There was a
there's not
motion and a second.
I don't think we can put that in unappropriated reserves because it's the jail's dedicated revenue source.
No, it's
earmarked money. We can't put it in general fund. Are you all looking at this? Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I'm not sure I totally follow it, but if we're talking about the revenue stream that is the dedicated sales tax for the jail, we can't use that money for any other purpose.
That's true.
I agree. I guess we got to figure out if that's what we're talking about. Cheryl may be the person that can answer.
it's not.
Because
And knows.
I don't know how we're talking about your revenue and putting it in unappropriated reserves, because that does not compute at all. So-
Cheryl?
I think what Ann's talking about is that $1 million is actually would be coming from County General. If you'll look at the top, it's got the infusion to the jail fund. And I think the other thing that she was talking about earlier, what we had discussed today, was she was asking about the holdback. And I said, well, last year, if you'll remember, I put down that there would be no holdback in jail because we will not hold 10% back and take money from County General to pay the jail bills. We will use all the money in County General or in jail, and if there's not enough money there to cover the budget as the expenditures are going out, then we move money into that. That was requested that we put the holdback back in there last year, so I did. So it's in there now, and I think that was one thing that she was talking about. But the $1,090,397 is actually would be money coming from General.
But
the only way to do what Ann is saying would be to reduce their request by $1,090,000.
We would have to cut your budget by that amount.
For that.
No, we cannot discuss. We need to be recognized.
I'm sorry, I still had the floor.
No.
I think the only way to do that is, the point is that your projected revenue stream is not quite covering the costs of the jail plus the jail operations budget from Ron Wood, and so you're needing that $1,090,000 to balance out. So you're having to get that from the general fund. So the only way we could get that back into unappropriated reserves would be to cut your budget by that amount. There's no other way to do it. You would have to cut your budget by that, and then if you needed it, you would come back. And I don't know how we could sit here and cut $1 million out of your budget right now.
And you know that number, that the infusion, Cheryl, if I'm right, wasn't that number that's $1 million this year, wasn't it like 2.7 last year at budget time?
Yes.
I can't support the motion that way. I don't think we're equipped to sit here and cut $1 million from your budget. I think we would have to revisit the operations budget as well.
Yeah.
The buildings and grounds budget for the jail as well. So I mean, I think the point is that what Ms. Bollinger is saying is, if you've got money in your fund, it may be holdback. She's going to dedicate that to it before she's going to borrow from the general fund. And so you may not ever need that from the general fund, but we're going to have it for budget purposes to have things balance out. There's no other way to do it. Okay. Thank you, Madam Judge.
Okay, J.P. Harbison? Was that, wait a minute, let me, hang on. Did I have any other hands up? I've got to recognize people and then, so, okay, go ahead, J.P. Harbison.
Okay, on page 40, it gives the revenue for the jail that they produce, and that's $13,654, and, well, $13,000,000, I can't read that. $654,150. All right. If the infusion is from general fund, it is not in the jail budget. So you can't cut $1 million of a jail budget if it's not in there, because it's, is that correct, Cheryl? Can I ask?
Yes, you can ask Cheryl that
May
question.
I ask Cheryl a question?
That's correct, and what we have done in the past is actually would show a negative unappropriated reserves in that final column for jail, and the $1,090,000 would show in the unappropriated reserves would show that much more for county general. It was requested by the JPs that we not do that, that we go ahead and do the show that there would be an infusion if the budget passed as presented.
Can I ask you another question? So we wouldn't be cutting $1 million out of their budget. I mean, they've got all their expenditures and everything listed, which is $13,175,735, correct? That's all their expenditures in the jail.
That's money available to budget.
Well, available to the budget from revenue in the jail. All right. Of that, $478,415 is holdback. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. If we add that 478,415 to the $13,175,000, well, $13,338. That's dedicated jail money. If they go over that, then they draw from this $1 million. And we don't do any other department like this. If they need additional money, they need to come back and justify why they need the additional money. That is not reducing the budget by $1 million, because that money is in general. Thank you. That's all I have.
Cheryl, do you have any explanation whatsoever?
I think, and I may have this wrong, but I think what Ann is saying is to do it like we have in the past. You would actually show that $478,000, the holdback, at a zero, because we don't actually, that's not going to happen. We're not going to have $478,000 in the jail fund and take money from county general. I think what she's saying is make that a zero. That would end up showing the unappropriated reserves for jail at a negative $611,982, which would in turn be added to the county general side, because we would not be holding money. So basically the county general number would go up. Then when we, and I think what she's saying is, instead of waiting until the end of the year to do the appropriations for the transfers we do, is whenever these transfers are made, bring them to your attention at that time and go ahead and pass an ordinance that we've transferred the money. I think that's what we're saying.
J.P. Lundstrom.
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to call the question on Ann's motion, which I plan to oppose. Thank you.
It's a 2/3 vote to shut down debate, Judge.
Okay.
And you can do it by voice vote. So the question is, Justice Lundstrom's call for the question is what's before you now, seconded by Justice Eva Madison. And it's not debatable, so you just need to vote, Judge. And 2/3 is the vote that carries that motion.
I'm going to call roll. Carly, call roll, please.
To close debate.
If
Okay,
you,
hang on just a second.
if you vote yes, you're supporting ending debate. If you vote no, you want to talk more.
Okay, Carly, call the roll, please.
Eva Madison?
Yes.
Sue Madison? Joe Maxwell?
Yes.
Gary McHenry?
Yes.
Joe Patterson? Butch Pond?
No.
Bill Ussery?
Yes.
Daniel Balls?
Yes.
Harvey Bowman?
Yes.
Rick Cochran? Robert Dennis?
Yes.
Lisa Ecke?
Yes.
Ann Harbison?
Yes.
Sharon Lloyd?
Okay,
Pass.
so,
Now you're on the, sorry. Now you're on Justice Harbison's motion, which must now be voted upon. Since you did the question by voice vote, by a roll call, I'd suggest you do it the same
Okay.
way for.
so please explain to what they're voting on.
You're now voting on Justice Harbison's motion to.
Well, it's,
To take the 470
okay.
and put it up there.
The 470, okay, Cheryl, I made the motion for the $1,090,000, but that's
That's
when
what
you
I-
came back and said, okay, explain what you said just a minute ago again.
Wait just a minute.
Now,
You can't do that? Okay,
now
we'll just vote.
as I understood it, the motion was to move $1,093,313 and a second. And so that's what's before you now. That's what I understood the motion to be anyway. And that was to put that $1 million back in the general,
I understood.
unappropriated reserves. That's my understanding of the motion. Is that not a fair?
Yes, that's a fair, but
Okay, that's your motion. It's been seconded by Butch.
yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
Okay, Carly, call the roll, please.
Eva Madison?
No.
Sue Madison?
No.
Joe Maxwell?
No.
Gary McHenry? Joe Patterson? Butch Pond?
Yes.
Bill Ussery? Daniel Balls? Harvey Bowman? Rick Cochran? Robert Dennis? Lisa Ecke?
No.
Ann Harbison?
Yes.
Sharon Lloyd?
No.
Tom Lundstrom?
Fails 12-2, Judge.
Okay, it fails, so
Okay.
do we have, okay, now that
Okay,
is,
can I ask for an explanation now?
Wait.
Or
Wait just a minute.
wait until,
She has to get the floor, Judge, and you're on to the main motion now, unless somebody else has an amendment.
any other amendment to this?
we don't have
You're,
an
you're
amendment.
you're recognized, J.P. Harbison.
Because okay, I'll just talk to Cheryl afterwards because I misunderstood what she said.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other discussion for the county jail? Do I have, did someone, Joel, did you want? Okay.
There
Any-
isn't a motion yet, as far as I know.
you- Yes,
I move we pass this budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
I would like to brag on Randall's ability to negotiate with our food services. As you know, our numbers have skyrocketed, hit all-time highs. Our food budget is not increasing in the jail because the numbers have rocked back a little bit. So anyway, I was anticipating those really going up, but looks like we're going to hold the line. So thank you, guys.
Judge Harvey has it.
Harvey, did you have, hang on
Yeah,
just a minute, guys. Harvey's got
Sheriff.
something to say. J.B.
sorry,
Bowman,
boss.
you're recognized.
Thanks, Judge. I noticed on the medical dental hospital
Yes,
that you got $1 million projected on that.
yes.
Can you give us an update on how this service that you contracted with is working? And that's a pretty nice bump there from 880 to $1 million.
Well, our numbers, a lot of that's attributed to the number of detainees that we're housing. We're anticipating with the increased numbers, the costs are going to go up a certain amount. To be frank and open, I think we had this discussion early on, our expectations probably in the first quarter that we were with this company were not met, and we're anticipating maybe having another competitive bid to get this mine down. But with the increased numbers, we're anticipating that price is it's gonna go up some.
Okay.
We've just got more people to take care of. That's just the bottom line. But the company that we're with, the main thing that they were having trouble with was getting staffing, and that may continue to be a problem in this area. I don't know. You know, our unemployment rate's low, and it's probably not the most desirable job, you know, when you get out of nursing school or you've been in it a while to come work in a jail. But we're bound and determined to find people that want to do it and have a passion for it. So I think it's still a great idea, and it's going to work out fine, whether we stick with this company or go with another.
The other competitors you're looking at, do they have staff in place, or is it going to be a similar problem, them trying to recruit staff?
Well, there's still, I don't care who you hire, they're still going to have to hire local for the most part. They may bring some management people in to do this. That seems to be the case with our food services, you know, and different things until you get them established. But I think the biggest problem is meeting payroll standards that people here are accustomed to for that service provided. And, you know, another company will just have to meet
Thanks,
that
Sheriff.
standard.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks,
I just want to know if you're getting rich off of that $28 to $30 now to hold your prisoners.
Well, we'll never get rich, but it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. Isn't it? If you figure that on average, Randall, state prisoners, what will we have on that they're reimbursing us for?
Our highest has been about 250, but around 200.
Let's just say 200, so that's, you know, $400 extra a day, you know. It's better than it was.
Eddie, that's
you all.
right. Randall, I think Mr. Dagan wants to talk to you.
I did, Judge.
Okay. Okay, the next thing we have on the budget is the constables. Okay, Cheryl, are you handling the constables?
I'll take care of that for you. We have 3 constables.
Hey, come on up here to the well. And that's going to be 141, that's correct. Sorry about that.
Okay, on page 141, now that we have 3 constables, actual other professional services is $22.50 because they make a whopping $7.50 a year. And then the big expense actually is the workman's comp, and it's $49.65. So their budget is $73.
Grand total.
Grand total.
Do I have a motion to accept this budget? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, J.P. Madison.
Right, there it goes. Thank you, Madam Director. Do they reimburse us for the workman's comp?
No.
Or do we have to pay it for them?
Yes. It protects.
Because of the $750 we pay them a year.
Yeah, it's you know, workers' comp's there to protect the county. It's.
Yes.
Okay, who are the 3 constables that are all the positions filled?
Yes.
So who are the 3 constables that
I
we
have no idea. But I'll get you the names. I can email you the names tomorrow.
I can tell you who they are.
Okay, yes.
John Duggar for District 1, Clint Edward Thomas for District 2, and Kyle Woodruff for District 3.
And are they running around with blue lights on a car, or what are they doing?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Does the sheriff know by any chance? What does it mean for a constable to be working? I mean, perhaps they're serving papers, but we've had occasions where they've gone on high-speed chases and people have been killed in this state.
Sheriff, you're recognized.
Thank you, Judge. I'm not aware of any of those incidents in the last couple of years, Sue. I do know that the Constable Duggar is active with the Tawnytown Police Department, that he will assist them occasionally, whether that's by doing ride-alongs or actually going out and working. You know that constitutionally they have the same ability within their area to do anything that a law enforcement official can do.
Within their township.
Within the area,
Their
yeah.
district. Yeah.
district, whatever we're going to call it, I'm sorry. And we've enlarged that. You know, we reduced the number from 15 to 3, which was, in my opinion, was healthy, but then again, you expanded the areas of those 3. But I will speak that we have had no problems that I'm aware of. Guys, we're not aware of any problems
Okay.
right now. So.
Okay, thank you.
J.P. Lundstrom.
I'm going to move we pass this budget. Thank you, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Citizens' comments. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I do. You have a second? All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Good deal. It's over.